Something that depression agitates a lot, often, is social anxiety. And some people have social anxiety separate from depression, some people don't. I am one of the individuals whose social anxiety goes hand in hand with depression. And social anxiety is usually the part of depression for me that I don't always like to admit, because when you listen to me or look at me, you often assume that I am this extremely socially confident individual who is super extroverted and non-anxious, but the truth is, I am always anxious, all the time, and it manifests itself when I least expect it, and I have some days where not only am I depressed, but I am socially drained due to the anxiety, to the point where I really can't socially interact with other people. I have to literally be on my own, recharge, and get through it for a few days. And unfortunately, it has caused a lot of strain on friendships and relationships in the past, because a lot of people misunderstand it for me being inconsiderate or hateful. But after I explain it, I'm just like, please just be patient with me. I will be myself again. And it's one of the more difficult parts of depression that takes a lot of getting used to. Social anxiety is often triggered for me when I am in situations where negative attention is drawn to me, especially if I'm in a large group of people. Happening in the classroom is one huge place. I could cite several different examples. Like, there was this one night in one of my grad classes, I remember, that I said something and the teacher responded in a certain way, and I felt really stupid because the teacher kind of was huffy and gruffy, and I looked very unintelligent compared to my peers, and that triggered my social anxiety, and it almost actually led to a shutdown, which I will talk about in a later video. But it goes to show you that some simple act like that triggered social anxiety in me, and it took me 2 or 3 days to get over that. But I really didn't tell anybody, because most people will assume that, oh hey, you're just being overdramatic or you're overreacting, like why would you do that? There are also situations where social anxiety connected with depression has caused week-long stints of having to socially recharge, and the most immediate one that happened to me was about a year ago, actually. My friends took me to some family, and we were playing card games in front of a guy that I really liked, and I have a very difficult time with card games that go really quickly or involve calculations, because I'm not good at math, and I have a difficult time picking up on patterns like that. So when we were chosen to be placed in teams for this card game, I wasn't performing up to everyone else's standards, which resulted in this guy that I liked making, passive-aggressive comments at me about my intellect, friends, like, glancing at each other like, oh god, this person's stupid, And, they may not think that they were consciously doing that, but I was picking up on that, and I immediately had social anxiety, and I also immediately went into a shutdown where I just kind of mentally and emotionally imploded on myself to the point where I didn't care anymore about the situation because I was so upset over it. Then we played a game where we were, like, labeling off things that each individual would likely be doing in a type of situation, and I was kind of thrown under the bus several times about masculinity and how I'm basically incompetent, and how during a zombie apocalypse I'd be useless because I'm not manly to the individuals in question, and that really destroyed me inside. It made me feel like I was in high school again. It triggered that social anxiety, and I had to recover from it for days. When that happens to somebody, it's very difficult to talk about because most people misinterpret that type of reaction. Most people assume that you can't handle your feelings or that you are incapable of taking a joke. It's just something that warrants further discussion. Social anxiety is very pesky, and it affects people differently, and it really puts a dampener on me a lot, especially when I am in groups with friends or in other specialized groups like in the classroom. But I just wanted to share some of those experiences because they're still pretty raw since they're so recent. If you guys have any experiences with social anxiety being connected to depression, feel free to comment about it in the comment section below. Feel free to follow my social media, comment, like my video, subscribe, all of that jazz. And we need to open more of a dialogue about social anxiety and its connection to depression, because social anxiety can not only trigger depression, but it also, like I said earlier in the video, can work hand in hand with it at the same time.